Is it possible that ancient civilizations were visited not by beings from other planets, but by humans from our own future? Look at the evidence. Across the globe, from the windswept plains of Iran to the deserts of America and the mountains of Peru, our ancestors left behind incredible rock carvings known as petroglyphs. These ancient artworks depict strange, disc-shaped objects in the sky. For decades, we have called them UFOs. We have assumed they were spacecraft from distant stars. But what if they are something else entirely? What if these circular crafts are not from another world, but from another time? This is a radical theory, but is it so far-fetched? This fascinating idea comes from an Iranian researcher named Siamak Makari. He proposes that these flying saucers are, in fact, time machines. Think about it. Why do these images appear in cultures separated by thousands of miles and thousands of years? Perhaps because time travelers have been visiting key moments in human history since the very beginning. They did not come from the stars, they came from our future. The ancient artists who saw these machines had no words for what they witnessed. They had no concept of advanced technology. So they did what any human would do. They carved what they saw into the rocks, leaving a permanent record for us to find. Consider the detailed carvings of figures in what can only be described as astronaut-like suits. We see them in Val Camonica, Italy, and in Sego Canyon, Utah. Mainstream archaeologists tell us these are symbolic representations of gods or spirits. But I ask you, is that what we are really looking at? Or are we seeing practical protective gear? If you were to travel through time, you would need a suit to protect you from different atmospheric conditions, from unknown bacteria, and perhaps from the very energies of the time travel process itself. These are not depictions of gods with strange heads. These are depictions of human beings wearing advanced helmets and specialized clothing. The consistency of these images is staggering. The disc shape is almost universal. Why a disc? Perhaps its aerodynamic properties are perfect not for traveling through space, but for navigating the currents of the space-time continuum. The beings inside are often shown as humanoid, just like us. If they were aliens from another galaxy, wouldn't they look more alien? The simplest explanation, as proposed by Makari, is that these visitors are our descendants. They are humanity returning to witness, or perhaps even influence its own past. The evidence is there, etched in stone, waiting for us to connect the dots. Could it be true? The answer, I believe, is yes. How could such a machine even work? How could a craft travel through time? The answer might lie in the groundbreaking theories of Albert Einstein. Einstein's theory of special relativity tells us that as an object approaches the speed of light, time slows down for that object relative to a stationary observer. This is a proven scientific fact. So, what would happen if you could somehow break the light-speed barrier? Theoretically, if you could travel faster than light, you might be able to move backwards in time. The laws of physics as we understand them say this is impossible. But are we certain we understand all the laws? Throughout history, what was once considered impossible has become reality. For centuries, we thought flying was impossible. We thought traveling to the moon was a fantasy. Every great leap forward begins with a theory that challenges everything we know. The idea of faster-than-light travel is that very challenge. Perhaps future scientists will discover a way to manipulate space-time, to create a warp bubble or a wormhole that allows a vessel to bypass the limitations of light speed. Such a technology would not be for traveling to Alpha Centauri. It would be for traveling to ancient Egypt or the Renaissance. The energy requirements would be immense, beyond anything we can currently produce. This brings us to the visionary inventor, Nikola Tesla. Was he on the verge of this discovery over a century ago? Tesla claimed he was working on devices that could harness immense electrical power. He spoke of transmitting energy wirelessly through the Earth itself. He hinted at technologies that could manipulate time and space. He once famously said, "The present is theirs. The future, for which I have really worked, is mine." Was he talking about his legacy, or was he hinting at something far more profound? Perhaps Tesla understood the connection between high-voltage electromagnetic fields and the fabric of time itself. His ideas were dismissed as madness, but perhaps he was simply too far ahead of his time. Science fiction has often explored this very concept. Think of the classic American sci-fi films where time machines are not static boxes in a laboratory, but sleek, flying vehicles. From Flight of the Navigator to other cinematic adventures, the time machine is often a flying saucer. Is this a coincidence? Or are the creators of these stories tapping into a collective memory, an ancient truth? They show us time travel as a dynamic journey, not a stationary event. This aligns perfectly with the petroglyphs. The ancients did not carve a box sitting on the ground. They carved a disc flying through the sky. Art imitates life, and perhaps in this case, it imitates a future reality. There is another deeply disturbing pattern that we cannot ignore. All around the world, sightings of these strange flying crafts often seem to coincide with periods of great political change, revolution, or social upheaval. Is this a mere coincidence? Or is there a direct connection? Let's look at the evidence. In modern times, UFO sightings spiked during the Cold War, a time of immense global tension and technological competition. Going further back, historical records from different countries describe strange lights in the sky or fiery shields during pivotal battles or just before a kingdom fell. The pattern is undeniable. Why would time travelers be interested in our moments of conflict and change? Siamak Mokkari's theory suggests a chilling possibility. If you wanted to understand how humanity arrived at a certain point in the future, you would study the turning points of its past. You would visit the moments where history could have gone one way or another. A revolution in one country, the signing of a treaty in another, the collapse of an empire. These are the fulcrums upon which our entire timeline rests. The time travelers are not here for a holiday. They are researchers, historians, or perhaps something more, observing the critical moments that shaped our destiny. Consider Peru, a land rich with ancient mysteries and petroglyphs showing strange beings. It has also seen centuries of political turmoil, from the fall of the Inca Empire to modern conflicts. Consider Iran, Mokkari's home country, a cradle of civilization that has been a crossroads of empires and revolutions for millennia. The same pattern appears in the United States, a nation born from revolution and forged in conflict. Is it possible that observers from the future are drawn to these hotspots? Are they simply watching, or are they subtly influencing events, nudging history onto a specific path? The implications are truly mind-boggling. This theory forces us to re-examine famous historical events. When people in Nuremberg, Germany, reported a celestial battle between spheres and crosses in 1561, was it a supernatural omen, or was it a skirmish between rival time-traveling factions? When Christopher Columbus and his crew saw strange lights dancing around their ships before they landed in the Americas, were they witnessing St. Elmo's fire, as historians suggest? Or were they being observed by travelers who knew this was one of the most significant turning points in human history? The link between these sightings and political change is too strong to be a simple coincidence. Something is going on. If time travel is real, and if the technology exists, who would have it? The answer is simple: the most powerful and technologically advanced nations on Earth. This leads to the most incredible part of this theory. What if a country, like the United States, has secretly developed this technology? What if they are not just observing the past, but actively trying to change it to secure their own power and influence? This is the ultimate conspiracy. It is not about controlling the news or the economy. It is about controlling history itself. It would be the greatest secret ever kept, a power beyond anything the world has ever known. Think of the possibilities. A small change in the past could have massive ripple effects in the present. You could prevent an enemy from rising to power. You could ensure a key scientific discovery happens in your own country first. You could win wars before they even begin. The temptation would be irresistible. This theory suggests that the UFOs seen around the world might not all be the same. Some could be historical observers from the distant future, while others could be tactical time travel units from our own present day, operated by clandestine government agencies. This would explain why so many sightings are reported near sensitive military bases. This is not just wild speculation. the evidence is all around us, hidden in plain sight. The rapid technological advancements of the 20th century, the sudden shifts in global power. Could these be the results of a temporal Cold War fought in the corridors of time? We are told that history is written by the victors, but what if the victors are those who can literally rewrite it? The astronaut-like figures in the petroglyphs could be operatives from our own time, sent back on missions we can barely comprehend. The strange crafts are their vehicles, navigating the past to shape the future. So, I ask you to look at the world with new eyes. Look at the ancient carvings on the rocks and ask yourself, are we seeing gods? Are we seeing extraterrestrials? Or are we seeing echoes of ourselves? Is it possible that Siamak Mokari's theory is correct? That humanity has unlocked the secret of time and is now engaged in a struggle for control of its own timeline? The evidence is there, from the rocks of the ancients to the theories of Einstein and the claims of Tesla. The only question is, are you brave enough to consider that it might be true? The truth, as they say, is out there, or perhaps it is back there.